Greetings, grasshoppers. Welcome to the bot signal today. It is all about my friend Mostafa, who is going to rock our worlds basically with what he has going on. Mostafa is a many splendored individual. I have a whole bio to read, but the most cool thing about him is that he's one of the kindest people that I know. And he sets people up with a one-page marketing plan. How simple does that sound? You know what I mean? It like cuts through right all of the clutter, all of the other stuff that is going on, a one-page marketing plan. I am dying to hear more about this, and so that's why I invited the venerable Mostafa Hosseini onto this show. Welcome, Mostafa.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I met you I think a month or a month and a half ago, and so tell the people what I know already, how fabulous you are, but also just a little bit of background on you. Where are you at, where do you live, why do you do what you do?
Oh, good. Well, those are a few questions.
Oh, okay.
So
It's okay, I'll slow it down.
I'm in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada, and for the past 3 years, I've been sharing my knowledge and experience and the results of being in business for the past, 14, 15 years in our core simple marketing formula. And so what I do is I help coaches and consultants create and implement their one-page marketing plan in 3 days or less. Now, the problem we solve is the fact that most coaches and consultants are poking around at different ideas, tools, systems, programs, softwares, and you name it, and they do that aimlessly without any goals or directions, which causes a lot of confusion, anxiety, frustrations, overwhelm, and depression, because the fact that they don't see results, and what happens is they experience setbacks, and some may call it failures on a daily basis. So what we do is we help them consolidate their knowledge and expertise and what needs to happen on a one-page plan that could be used on a daily basis. So the reason that we do that is just to simplify, as we're all about simplicity and community.
Well, and so one of the things that I know that my folks deal with on the regular is, what do I go with? Which plan do I go with? Which guru should I go with now? There's so many things out there, and I faced this as an entrepreneur. I'm sure that you did too, Mostafa.
Absolutely.
When you start your business, it's like you could listen to anybody, and they all seem to have it going on, and they all seem to have this kind of slick marketing, you know what I mean, slick marketing thing around them, and it's like it's so hard to say to someone who's just starting out, you really need to simplify, not add. So I imagine you've had that conversation a lot with people. What's one person that stands out in your mind, that you've worked with, that has really needed to simplify?
That's almost everybody.
Almost everybody, yeah.
So what happens is, you see, we get distracted with the shiny object syndrome, and so we get the impression that we need to gain more knowledge and do more and all that. Well, we just need to focus, and here's the important thing: prioritize.
Okay.
Right? Like, if someone is in the beginning stages of their business, they must focus on number one, they got to know exactly what they need. Number two, figure out who they want to serve and what they're going to do for them. Then have an offer. That's the early things, right? Now, what I see is a lot of people, they don't know what they want exactly, and they're out there working on lead generation.
Yeah.
It's like, I always bring this analogy of, Uh, think of it as if you're trying to build a house. You always finish the plan on the blueprint. The architects do design everything, then they start building the house.
Yeah.
Now, what most people do is they start building the basement without having the whole plan finished.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you got to finish the design. Do you know exactly what you want? Oh, I'm like ready, fire, aim approach. That's what I've got going on. It's like,
Yeah.
uh, just slow down, figure out what you want. It's okay. It's just one day. It's just a few hours, right? And then go step by step so you can actually get there.
That's so beautiful. Well, and you said they start building the basement before the rest of the house. Isn't the basement the foundation of the house?
Well, it is, but I'm just saying that maybe they start building a roof maybe before
Oh, yeah,
building.
no. I mean, because what you're saying resonates much with me because I also, I talk to people and they get real excited about bots. And then I'll ask them a few clarity questions, whether it's person to person or in a bot or something. And I'll discover they really don't, they're not aiming yet. They don't know, they don't have a target.
Oh yeah,
And then I send them to people like you, because that's something that I'm not good at being helpful to, helping people figure out that target necessarily, but I have friends who are. But yeah, the foundation of everything, and what I always keep going back to just in my work is who we going for, who
absolutely.
is it? Yeah.
It's like someone showing up to you and say, "Hey, I really need to have a bot," and you're like, "Do you have an offer?" You're like, "No." Right?
Yeah, exactly. What's the end point of that? And I think that I know why this happens is because there's so many stories out there of people who fly by the seat of their pants and make $3 billion and flying around on a jet right now. Probably there are a lot of internet stories like that.
Yes.
I think that a lot less of them are true than are told.
Yes.
Um, well, so tell me why you got into what you do. What was the spark that made you think, you know what? I'm going forward with this one page marketing plan. What was the spark of it?
So I went to school for marketing and for business. I have a diploma in marketing management. I got my degree in business management with a minor in marketing. Now that's a while ago when I went to school. And while I was in school, I started Persyo Marketing, which was my marketing agency, and I ran it from. We went back starting 2010 up until 2018. I ran the agency for 8 years. Now, back in 2017, I read 2 or 3 books that changed the course of my life.
Okay.
The first one was 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Now, in that book, Peter Thiel was one of the co-founders of PayPal.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the book, he says competition is for losers. And I resonated with that statement because I was in a hyper competitive environment. I definitely felt like a loser, right? Like every morning I wake up, I probably have tens of thousands of new competitors out there.
Yeah.
It's like in this whole digital marketing world, people wake up one day and be like, I need to be a Facebook marketing advisor because I've been liking and sharing on Facebook. So I think I got it. Okay. Okay. Let me share you how it's done. So anyway, so I almost overnight, I decided to drop the marketing agency services. I
Okay.
didn't know what I was going to do, but I was like, I have to narrow down and niche down. And I was in an environment where we were trying to serve everybody, do a lot of things for many people. And nothing was working really well. Right. So I came to this with my own experience. Now, the next book that I read was The 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch. Figuring out what's actually important. What are the priorities? What is the 20% of the activities, products, services, customers, and the rest of it that produce 80% of the results? Right. So we did all that. And then I decided to put the stuff that are working from. We have pretty good success with my agency, right? And so what I did was I put the 20% of the stuff that works, that produces 80% of the results, out in our course Simple Marketing Formula. And then that's the story on that.
Beautiful. Yeah. Gosh, competition is for losers. That's an interesting. I've never read that book.
You should.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, it sounds great. Yeah, because when your eyes are on everybody else's paper, you forget what you're writing.
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
and for me, I don't. A lot of a lot of people will say to me, "Well, what's your competition doing?" I don't know. I don't really. I don't focus on that, and maybe so much to my detriment, I don't focus on that. But for me, every day that I can spend having another conversation, making another connection with another human being, that's where my time is best spent. It's
Absolutely.
not best spent, a long time ago, way back in corporate slavery, I had a job where I looked at the stats of this particular program that we had written, and I statted it all the time. And I was like, okay, this percent, and, and it really never felt like I was breaking through anywhere.
Oh yeah.
I
See,
feel
when you're focused on your competition, then you're focused on someone else and what they do, and you don't end up building up much. Like, it's good to be aware of the competition.
Yeah.
What's happening? What are the trends in the market? But if you're solely focused on what they do and you start copying what they do, it's like, dude, you're gonna be a copycat.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And then you're gonna have a hard time answering the question of, so how are you different? Well, and then the people mostly say, oh, we do a good job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Our customer service makes us different. I I get it, and I get why so many people are led by that principle. And of course, what you do is bring it all back to the simple stuff, the one pager, the let's do this in 3 hours.
3 days.
3 days. Sorry. Sorry. That to me, that's amazing. To me, that is something that something that I want to do, because I'm one to think that the formula is never completely finished. It's like a fine painting. It changes over time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to finish. And so, every once in a while I kind of look at back what I'm doing, because I've changed a lot this year. I can see, even if you've been in business a while, there's a huge use for just going back to this and figuring it out, seeing if there's been any changes. So I don't know. I'm a huge fan.
Oh yeah, it's actually best suited for people that have been in business for a while. Now, people that have been in business for a while, they kind of feel that they've got everything figured out.
Yeah.
And then when they show up, when we start looking the foundational stuff that we talk about, they don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
And it's like the idea of poking around at different things. And a lot of businesses have kind of a shaky foundation, for lack of a better term. It's not very strong. And then that's why they have a hard time going to high 6 figures or 7 figures or past that. It's because the foundation is not solid.
Yeah.
And then if you've talked to any successful people that have done it, and they always talk about keeping the foundational stuff and sticking to the foundational stuff and getting that figured out. It's like, are you into basketball? Do you watch basketball at all?
Not really, but I've seen it.
Yeah. So, an example would be, Kobe Bryant, who died last year this time.
Mm-hmm.
So Kobe would do 1,000 shots a day. And I wasn't a big fan But over the past year, I have developed massive respect for this guy, right? And that's the foundation. Every day, 1,000 shots, right?
Yeah.
And figuring out that basic move has helped him basically, I'm sure there's more to it, but just sticking to the basics and the foundational stuff.
1,000 shots a day. I had never heard that, but that's pretty amazing, isn't it? I mean,
And then he actually does it after a game. He did it. I've watched quite a bit of his clips there. One of the clips, he said, after they lost the game, he went back to the court and made 1,000 shots. Most people would be laying down on the couch, drinking and, thinking about their misery and how they lost. This guy's out there practicing the
yeah,
basics.
that's an amazing skill. That would be amazing skill to translate into business.
Yes.
Lose a major client. All right, let's spend the afternoon.
Let's pick up the phone and make 1,000 calls.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, times when I've had disappointments in business, and I certainly have had my share.
And honestly, if we did that, if we lost a major client, if we picked up the phone and made 100, 500, 1,000 calls, we would get over that immediately.
Yep.
Because sure enough, if you make 1,000 calls, even if you're really bad at it, you're going to find one customer.
Yeah, you are.
Somebody's going to say, this guy sounds okay. I need your service out of 1,000 people, right?
Exactly. So. Yeah. I've got somebody asking a question. Do you have a link to your program? You sent that to me, didn't you?
Do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, shoot it to me again, and I will. I'll put it in there for everybody, because yeah, to me, what you're doing there, and how it's so, I talk about bro marketing a lot and how terrible it is. This is like the anti-bro marketing. This is what you really, really need to have, and will help you get it fast, and will help you get it on one sheet of paper. But it's none of the flashy, it's none of the flashy stuff. It's none of the overwhelm and stuff that you were talking about at the beginning. It just impresses me so much, because I can see, the minute that I think we were in a meeting together, and you said that the one-page marketing plan, I was like, that has got to be the rocket ship right there. That has got to be, because that's something that concrete that you can lean on when you have a question, rather than, here's my ultra complicated 10,000 step system. Good luck.
And then hire me and I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just put the link here in our private chat so you could share.
Yep.
One of the things that we do, and can I share a tip for people out there?
You must please share whatever you want.
So people are poking around at different lead generation ideas. Okay. And here's a question that we find an answer to in our class. And the question is, what is one lead generation strategy that I should work on, so that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? One lead generation strategy. So see, what happens is people are thinking and are working on 2 or 3 or 4 or more lead generation strategy, and nothing is working.
Yeah.
Let's put all of our effort on one lead generation strategy, whether it's your Facebook advertising, whether you're doing JV partnerships, whether you're doing speaking on stages to gain leads. Get one thing going. Once that's working, optimized, and it's bringing you leads when you're sleeping, then move on to something new. So one at a time, right? That's the question that we try to find answers for in our class. What is one thing you got to do for lead generation? One thing for lead conversion? One thing for client retention? What is one type of customer I need to serve and support to make me millions?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that it's so the way to go. I kind of it reminds me of something. It reminds me of something from software development. Actually, have you ever heard of the MVP, putting the MVP out there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For those of you who are not nerds, that is putting them instead of creating this, crazy amount of stuff and then putting it out there in the marketplace and seeing how people react. You create one thing, that's doing that, and you put it out there, test it, tweak it, get feedback, make it work really, really well, and then you add a feature to it. Just one.
Absolutely. So another thing that we would even, may I add?
You must.
One thing we would actually try to do before that is show them the sketches and the draws and the explanation and see if they would buy it. If you have a deposit, you have a product. If you don't get deposits, you don't have a product. You see, so a lot of people, Laurel Langmeyer?
Yeah.
So Laurel would go out there, sell a title and the image of a book. If it sells, then they start writing the book.
Yeah.
It's not like they spent 2 years writing the book, editing and making it look good, and then go out there after tens of thousands of dollars, and then be like, is someone going to buy it? And they're like, no. Oh, here's another step. I think she became a New York Times bestseller before she even wrote the book. Get that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the way to do it. So I'm with you on the idea of the minimum viable product. Like another thing that I heard from a gentleman named Reid Hoffman, he was one of the co-founders of PayPal, which helped me quite a bit. He says, if you're not embarrassed by your first release, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Right? Because people try, it has to be perfect and it has to look really good. And it has to be similar to what Microsoft is doing. They're like, no. That the first version of Windows 95, do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
The days that we spent back in the day trying to restart our computer and reinstall Windows, it was not great. Anyway.
Not great. It was not great at all. And that's not to say you shouldn't put some work into something, but you shouldn't slave away in silence and try to make something perfect before you get some people's feedback on it and get some buy-in around it. And when I first heard that, and this was years ago, I was like, isn't that disingenuous, putting something out there and then going, well, I guess I better build it because it's sold. Isn't that disingenuous? But what it really is let's build something in collaboration with the people who love us.
Yeah. Or in other words, to put it, is we call it market validation or idea validation or idea or market testing, just to see what people say. And now there are tools out there like Kickstarter, where you would say, this is what you would get. And that's another excellent way to test your idea. Here's the description and the picture of what you're going to get. Will you buy it? And if a bunch of people buy it, you know that you have a product or a service. If they don't buy it, you know that you shouldn't waste any time and money. Or you modify it, you go back again, say, would you buy this? They're like, hell yeah, or hell no.
Yeah.
Then because it's all a matter of, oh God, it's painful where people, you ever watch Shark Tank or Dragon's Den?
Yeah.
Canada? It's like people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of their savings and their lifetime earnings, and they waste it on something. How painful is that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. To me, it's not disingenuous at all. It's getting real feedback.
Absolutely.
It's getting real. Okay, this is because I used to do exactly that. I would sit home when I was first in business and I would make a class in a vacuum This is what I think people ought to know. And then I ran into our friend Iman. So, and then the world went topsy turvy, right? Because he's a really great course creator, teaches people how to do it, and his thing is, no, you got to do that entirely differently. Really? But yeah,
Exactly.
I no longer create stuff in a vacuum, and no entrepreneur should, whether it's a course, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, getting that validation, and doing it through Mostafa's plans here. That's the way to go. To have a real direction, to have a simplified direction as well.
Mhm.
So tell me a story, Mostafa. Tell me a story about your favorite client that you have helped through the years making this plan.
Favorite client throughout the years we helped. Oh God, there are so many.
I know your favorite story,
It's
baby.
the main thing that I'll share a story from this weekend.
Yes.
Can I?
Yeah, you must.
So we just ran the course this past weekend, and people show up, and the idea of we ask them, "What do you do?" And they're usually in the realm of, "I help everybody get everything,"
Oh God.
right? And then when we help them identify what they do and who they do it for, that clarity piece is like it lifts mountains off their shoulders. And they're like, "Oh my God, that's so relaxing. I know who I serve and I know who I what I do for them." Right? And it's just the idea of, God, there's just so many. Which one should I pick? Let me think a second. This weekend I was working with a musician who helps people learn how to play piano, right? And that's something you could teach to a lot of people. Now, by the end of the class, she ended up serving parents of young children. Okay. And the tagline we came up with was, "I help parents of young children keep them away from social media and their smartphones."
There you go.
Now she's like, "Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do and who I'm going to do it for," versus I teach people how to play piano, right? But if
Right.
you come to me and say, "I help you keep your young kid away from social media and from your smartphone," I'm like, sign me up. Because my kid is on social media, not on social media. He's on YouTube and playing on my phone and the iPad all day long.
Yeah.
But if I could get him on a piano or something more useful, which helps him with his cognitive abilities and learns a skill, oh, hell, sign me up, right?
Yeah.
Versus, do you want to learn piano? Probably not. No, I'm busy.
Yeah. Well, and that's the difference too between and playing piano is still the heart of it, but what you're getting at is, what do parents lay awake at night worrying about?
Yeah,
Their kids on devices all the time and not learning other skills.
exactly. And
They're
like,
not worried about whether their kid is playing piano or not.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm literally worried about how much time my kid spends on YouTube. And during the pandemic, we cannot see friends and family. So
Yep.
we're all trapped and jailed at home.
Yeah.
I am seriously concerned about how these kids are going to turn up.
Yeah.
Right? They spent an entire year under house arrest,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, dude, and my oldest is 5. This is a critical year at the age that he's at. He
Oh, that's
spent
true.
1 year, he did not play with any kids, and he's constantly begging me to play with him while I've got work to do. I go play with him, and I come back, and he comes back like 30 seconds later. He's like, "Dad, but I really want you to play with me." I'm like, "Son, I've got work to do. I'll come." He's like, "No, no, no. I want it right now." Right? Like, "Son, I just spent an hour and a half. I'm sweating like a pig." But
Yeah.
so what I'm trying to say is it's tough times. And then if someone could come up with a specific solution for a specific group of people, that is a lot more likely to bring you business, a lot more likely to generate leads and sell and become profitable versus I help people be happy. Oh, I hear that a lot.
Oh
I
boy.
help people be happy and gain clarity. It's like I have no clue what you just meant by that statement.
Yep.
Right. So
Oh man, I wish I would have met you years and years ago.
me too.
Because I think that you could have really helped a lot, cut through a lot of marketing clutter, and a lot of things that I bought that I didn't need. Anyway, I'm glad to know you now. Uh,
Likewise.
and let me catch up on the comments here. Windows 95. Hell, Windows 10 was terrible. Oh, it
Yeah.
was. I work with parents and caregivers of young children as well.
Wow.
That's our Teresa. That's why I teach parents and caregivers how to use play and exploration to build skills and support curious learning. That is our Teresa. So excellent. Gosh, what nugget can you leave our folks with? What golden nugget can you leave our folks with that'll brighten their day and put some ease in their lives as entrepreneurs?
Gold nugget to brighten your day. Oh God, what do I start with? Start every single day with a to-do list that is prioritized.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Here's why. Again, going back to what you want to do with your day and what needs to happen, you gotta know what you're gonna do. Right? It's
Yeah.
like if you don't know what you want, getting it becomes almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want? I don't know what I want. Okay, well, how are you gonna get it? Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get it. That's why you don't get it. Right? And so make a to-do list and figure out what is the most important tasks that need to be done.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if here's a question to help you identify what's the most important thing. And it came from the book, uh, The One Thing. The title of the book is called The One Thing. This is where I learned the question. And the question is, what is one thing I must accomplish today so that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Okay. Another way to prioritize your to-do list is actually reading the book called Essentialism.
Oh,
It's a
great
must
book.
read.
Great
It's a
book.
must read. And so you look at your to-do list and you ask the question of, is this an essential task? Is this a must do, or is it a nice to have? If it's a nice to have, it doesn't make it as a priority. So you do that, you stick to that for 90 days and watch your life transform.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh. I love that. I love the Essentialism book.
It's amazing.
I absolutely do. It is a winner. It's a winner. So great golden nugget. Stacy Bryuka says hi, by the
Hi,
way.
Stacy. Good to see you.
Very good. Well, we're just about out of time today. So I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Mostafa, I'm gonna dump you in the bottom bar. Hang out there for a second.
Sure.
Because I would love to talk to you. And gosh, thank you for coming on, sharing your wisdom today, that it doesn't all have to be hard and backbreaking work to be an entrepreneur. It can be simple. It can be wonderful and life-giving. Thank you for sharing your message
Thank
today.
you. I appreciate it. You're always great to chat with. A lot, and like you said, I wish I met you like years ago as well. So, but things happen for you for a reason at the right time. So I'm glad we met.
Yeah, me too, my
I'm glad
friend.
to be here.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'll round up here, and well, what a great show, everybody. And that's some really great nugget to go away with. So that Essentialism book, can't recommend it highly enough. So go do that if you can. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to be doing Friday wins. Bring me your wins. Small, large, personal business. If it can go on the internet, Bring us your wins this week, and we will celebrate with you because it's really important to smell the roses once in a while when you're an entrepreneur. And thank you for being here today. You know you're the greatest audience ever. I'll see you in a bot.